Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Karunia Eka Janah and my partner, Mbak Agnes Lintangsasi Wicaksono. We are going to present the result of our discussion on literacy and education course. Okay, so we have 3 journals that we would like to send to you. This is the first journal article. The title is The Effectiveness of Extensive Reading on Students' Reading Comprehension Achievement as Observed from Students' Motivation. The author or the writer is Bapak Sarwo ID. So this is Indonesian author. And this journal article taken from Jurnal Pendidikan Humaniora. It is also available online at journal.um.ac.it/index.phd/gph. And there are 2 purposes of the study in this research. The first is to investigate whether the extensive reading activity is effective in improving students' reading comprehension achievement. And the second purpose of the study in this research is to investigate whether there is any interaction between the extensive reading and the students' reading motivation. Theory used. So there are some theories used in this research. Burns et al. At 1996 see comprehension as an evolving process, often beginning before a book is opened, changing as the material is read, and continuing to change even after the book is completed. Then the developmental nature of comprehension is enriched when the students interact with others about aspects of the material after it has been read. And reading comprehension in this research deals with the students' ability to comprehend reading text. According to Willett in 1996, reading is the process of understanding a reading text. That statement implies that when the teacher does a reading class activity, the teacher has to make sure that the students can comprehend the writer's ideas written in the text. And one of the strategies that can be implemented in teaching reading to help students read lots of book materials with pleasure by combining implicit learning and explicit learning. And extensive reading is one of the strategies which involve implicit learning. It can increase reading fluency through large amount of reading, improve text reading fluency by rereading text. And this is the methods used in this research. So for the first is the research design. This study employed a quasi-experimental method using a quasi-factorial design with a pre-test and post-test non-equivalent group design. Since this study used more than one independent variable, the researcher used quasi-factorial design. And Birch in 1983 stated that a factorial design is a type of experiment in which the researcher determines the effect of 2 or more independent variables, each by itself and also in interaction with each other on a dependent variable. And then the research subject, the subjects of the study were the second semester students of Stein Curup, Bengkulu in academic year 2011-2012. For the more specifically, there are 173 students of the second year of Stein Curup who become the target population of this research. And then the third is the research instrument. So the students' reading comprehension achievement was measured by an objective test in the form of multiple choices. Students' reading motivation was profiled and classified by a reading motivation questionnaire. And then in analyzing the data collected, the research used multivariate analysis of covariance. And this is the findings. So there are 2 findings in this research. For the first finding, the students taught by extensive reading activity showed higher scores than those taught by conventional way. Based on the analysis of covariant result, to determine the result, the hypotheses need to be stated as follows. So here, the null hypothesis is there is no difference in students' reading comprehension achievement between students who are given additional extensive reading activity and those who are not given additional extensive reading activity. That's the null hypothesis. And then for the working hypothesis is there is any difference in students' reading comprehension achievement between students who are given additional extensive reading activities and those who are not given additional extensive reading activities. That's the working hypothesis. And then, based on the statement above, briefly, the hypotheses have been tested in accordance with the result of the analysis. And then the results show that the testing of the first null hypothesis, the p-value is 0.000. And since the p-value was lower than the level of significance or alpha, which is 0.05, then the null hypothesis was rejected. And the working hypothesis can be accepted. That there is a difference in students' reading comprehension achievement between students who are given additional extensive reading activity and those who are not given additional extensive reading activity or conventional way. So the null hypothesis is rejected and the working hypothesis is accepted. That's why the students taught by extensive reading activity got higher scores than those who taught by conventional way. And then for the second finding, is there is no interaction between students' motivation and extensive reading. From the table of tests between subject effects, it shows that there is no interaction between extensive reading program and the students' motivation since the p-value is 0.461, which is greater than the level of significance or alpha, which is 0.05. That's why, based on the statistical computation, the result is there is no interaction between extensive reading program and the student's motivation. And the summary of the analysis of covariance is presented in the slide. That's the p-value is greater or higher than the level of significance, which is 0.05. That's why the result is there is no interaction between students' motivation and extensive reading. And we also respond to this student article on how it is relevant to our future research, teaching practice, or family literacy practice. And personally, it is relevant to my future research on reading. So I plan to conduct research on receptive skills, which are reading and listening skills. That the focus is on the correlation of reading and listening habits to the student's achievement on language learning. As we know that reading is one of the receptive skills in language learning. And here, reading is one of the receptive skills in language learning so that it can give inputs to students. By reading, students can get information or insight so that they can produce something by writing and speaking as the outputs of language learning. And in the process of reading, students attach meaning to the words, phrases, and sentences, and then understand them by with the grammar and expression used. Therefore, in line with reading habits as one of the X variables for my future research, extensive reading is important as it is one of ways to build good reading habits so that it can contribute to the improvement of students' language skills. That's the first journal article that we have discussed. And then this is the second article. The title is Extensive Reading, Theory, Research, and Implementation. The author is Mr. Kyurong NG, Mr. Willy Aranenja, and Mr. Welye Claire Chong. So this is not an Indonesian author. This article is taken from the journal. The GOI is presented on the slide, so everyone can access it online. And there are three purposes of the study. The first purpose of the study is to elucidate the theory and principles underlying extensive reading. And the second purpose of the study is to present a critical summary of current research on extensive reading that has been conducted in English as a second language and English as a foreign language context and has been published over the last 5 years in an attempt to encourage greater implementation of extensive reading programs. And for the third purpose of the study is to provide direction for future research, which we believe or which the authors believe might fill critical gaps in their knowledge about extensive reading. And this is the theory used. So, as we know that there are many different terms for extensive reading, which are pleasure reading, self-selected reading, free voluntary reading, and wide reading. And over the years, a plethora of studies has revealed that extensive reading enables students to reap numerous linguistic benefits, including improved reading fluency, vocabulary acquisition, a better reading skills, and a better writing skills. Besides linguistic benefits, students also develop wider and deeper knowledge about the world, which is essential in relating and connecting with the text and other people. And according to Day and Berford in 1996, extensive reading provides students with a lot of easily comprehensible English books of various genres, allowing them to enjoy the learning process while improving their reading proficiency at the same time. And then the methods used will be presented by Agnes.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Karunia. And then next is the methods used in this study. So this study got the results by making the summary of current research on extensive reading that has been conducted in English as a second language and English as a foreign language context and has been published over the last 5 years. Furthermore, there are 14 students that are observed in this research to collect the data. They are from Naka, Nishes until Hercules, as you can see the titles on the screen. Next, Mbak, please. And then the findings. The first is overall effectiveness of extensive reading. So here, extensive reading is proven to be more effective than traditional reading method in improving language proficiency. Moreover, extensive reading was more effective to be given to the older. So based on this study, the older learner can practice or can do extensive reading more effective than the younger learner. The younger learner, because older learners they do have the more analytical skill and nature. And the third is the length of program also influences the effectiveness of extensive reading. So the longer the program, the better English proficiency that students will have. And the second is the effect of extensive reading in reading rate and comprehension. So extensive reading is effective in improving students' reading rate, but not in influencing students' reading comprehension. And easy text can make the students read more fluent because in the easy text, there are so many easy vocabularies, easy structures, which the students will be easily to understand. And the third is extensive reading brings positive effect to vocabulary acquisition. So here, based on the study, vocabulary acquisition has the biggest improvement affected by ER program compared with the reading rate and reading comprehension. Why? Because the students can encounter words. I mean, by doing the extensive reading program, the same words will be repeatedly, and the students will keep read those vocabularies, so they will easily to remember. And then pleasurable reading created by extensive reading activity also becomes the reason why vocabulary acquisition can be effectively developed. And next is number 4 is extensive reading contributes to the better writing skill. So by doing extensive reading, the students can learn and know writing elements such as content, organization, vocabulary, language use, and also mechanics. And after they know and learn about these elements, they will apply it to their writings. So by doing extensive reading, they can produce the better text. They will have the better writing skills. And the next is extensive reading is beneficial for grammar. If it is compared with grammar translation method or GTM, extensive reading brings greater benefit for grammar improvement. And the last is students' attitudes and perceptions toward extensive reading. Extensive reading is proven to make the students' attitude more positively towards English. Nevertheless, extensive reading doesn't influence the reading habit. So they may be while reading, they feel, okay, reading is easier than before because of extensive reading program. But it doesn't make the students keep reading. So extensive reading program cannot produce the reading habit of the students. So that is the weakness actually. And next is the responses. This is our response to the article. So in teaching practice, extensive reading can give a lot of benefits to the students' improvement in language learning. So as one of the findings said that the extensive reading is proven to be more effective than traditional method, in the future, we want to implement this program, extensive reading program in our class. So we do believe that while implementing this program, we believe that our students will have the better language proficiency, especially English proficiency. And the next is the third journal, actually entitled Extensive Reading in Indonesian Schools in Indonesian Schools, a Successful Story. The authors are Christina Laksmita Anandaria and Josefa Aryani Iswandari, and you can find the journal from Teflon Journal. And this study has two purposes. The first is describing steps to establish a successful extensive reading program at Indonesian schools. And the second is reporting factors that contribute to the success of an extensive reading program. Next, please. The theories used. Based on the observation and discussion of workshop held by Indonesian Extensive Reading Association or IERA, there are many schools in Indonesia who are very interested to implement the program. However, they still do not have any clear idea of how to start the program. Therefore, IERA promoted some ways that the schools can do to start the extensive reading program. They are the first, the library should be planned. The books provided in the library should make the students achieve reading gain, not reading pain. So there should be enough graded books on the shelves, even after the students borrow the book. So the numbers of the books in the library should be greater than the numbers of the students itself. And the second is the library should be well set. The school needs to create the system which enables the students understand how to use the library. The school also needs to cover the various preferences and abilities of the students to read by providing fiction and non-fiction books. And the library should provide various genres, romance, thriller, comedy, and etc. to make the students feel engaged to read, to come to the library and to borrow the books. Moreover, Retnaningdyah suggests that the school should make, Retnaningdyah in 2016 suggests that the school should make sure that the books provided are appropriate to the students, which can make them more motivated to read. And the third is school must promote what extensive reading is. The program can be started in the classroom where teacher gives the easy text to the students to make the students feel enjoyable with the reading process. So when the students understand the concept that reading is enjoyable, they will keep reading by their own motivation. Oh yeah, next is the methods. The research design of the study is qualitative since the results of data are elaborated in the form of words, and the subjects for the research purpose one is one English teacher of a public senior high school in Yogyakarta, and for research purpose two, one English teacher of private junior high school which has practiced this program, extensive reading program for 2.5 years. And also one English teacher of a public senior high school in Yogyakarta, which are the partner of the author. So all of the subjects are the teachers from Yogyakarta. And for research instruments, for the purpose one, the researcher used interview, so the teacher or the subject will be interviewed. And for research purpose two, interview, I mean the subject will be interviewed also. And the field notes, it is to make sure to check whether the theories and the practice are connected each other. And the students reading journals, this research used 72 students reading journal. And then next. Okay, thank you, Mbak Nia. The findings. The first is steps for establishing a successful extensive reading program at Indonesian school. So there are three reasons contributing the success of extensive reading program at Indonesian schools. They are: the school can help to provide the clear plan of how the library will be used. And based on the interview results, the schools are really supportive on the English extensive program. Reading. However, other teachers of different subjects such as mathematics, bahasa Jawa, bahasa Indonesia, they still face the problem. They still face the problem to find the integrated sources for their subjects. So it must be the concern for the school and the government actually. The second is students' enthusiasm. How the teacher implement extensive reading program affects students' enthusiasm. So one interviewee felt that he required to find another technique which do not negate the students' reading preparation. So in this context, this teacher experienced that he gave the students a task for reading 3 novels in a semester, which the students do not like to do this assignment because they have had kind of bad perception of novel, because the novel is thick and have so many words. It is long and the students do not like it. So here the teacher tries to find, I need to find the new technique which makes my students enjoy to read. And then the third is book availability. So this reason plays the big role to make the school be able to run extensive reading program for a long time. Unfortunately, based on the result of the study, there are schools library which, due to the financial condition, the library cannot provide the integrated novel, which made the students with low English proficiency level meet difficulty because they cannot find the suitable novel based on their proficiency. Next, please, Mbaknya. Thank you. And the second is factors that contribute to the success of extensive reading program at Indonesian school. The first factor is home literacy culture. Reading atmosphere created by parents at home becomes an early influence on a good reading habit. So based on this result, based on this study actually, the students whose parents loves to buy book, loves to read book, especially reading with their kids, it can create the student with those parents who has those kind of parents have the better reading skills rather than those whose parents do not buy books for them or do not read the book. So home literacy is very, very important for the students' reading skill. And the second is teacher modeling. Teacher is the model of the class. So the teacher who shows the students that he or she enjoys reading will give the stimulate to the students' belief that reading is enjoyable and valuable. So there is a subject here of the study who was that while reading silent reading session, he brought his book and then he sat on the corner and then he read the book, uh, and suddenly all of the students followed him. All of the students became silent and they begin to read. So teacher is the model of the class. And the third is consistency of program. The school must be consistent in holding the extensive reading program. Based on the research, the program which has been conducted a year gives a positive impact on the students' language skills. So actually, the result of this study there are two experiences, different experiences from two subjects. One teacher was that can 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 was that argue or can give the opinion or no can assure the school to help the extensive reading program as the extracurricular. So the students, it is the mandatory extracurricular that the students must join. So this on Tuesday, on every Tuesday at 1:30 until 3 p.m., the students must join the extracurricular to read, just for reading, and it gives the what's a good influence for the students' reading skills. However, another subject um, says that the school's administration and the parents do not agree with this argument because they think that the more extra activity for reading, especially, just give the burden for the students because the students have had so many homeworks and they also need the social life outside the classroom, outside the school. So that is why the school administration and the parents don't agree. So this teacher applies the extensive reading program in her classroom instead, just in her classroom. Next, please, Mbak. And this is our response to the article. So related to family literacy practices, one of the findings state that home literacy can contribute to the success of extensive reading program at Indonesian school. We definitely agree on that statement since um, as future parents, I mean, we haven't married yet, but we plan that our children, we must have the good literacy first, the good literacy practice first. We must love reading first to make our children love reading too. So we have to build good literacy practice at home in order to build a family with good literacy. I think, yeah, that is our response to this article. And yes, that's all for our presentation today. Thank you for your attention. Um, Sorry for the mistakes, mistaken words and actions. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We would like to also thank to Ibu Pratiwi Retnaningdyah Ph.D. for giving us a chance to
Yes.
present our result of discussion on literacy and education course. That's all from us.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mbak Agnes, for your good cooperation.
Thank you, Mbak
Looking
Nia.
forward. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.